it was difficult sitting out. I mean, you come to college and you want to start playing right away. But for me, I mean, I was able to take a step back and learn from the older guys that were here, and I was able to just get my body ready for this year, which was good.
What's your role on this team? How do you see yourself fitting?
I mean, I just want to be a spark, whether I'm coming in off the bench or whatever. I just want to get in, play hard, make shots, play tough defense.
How much has Gerry worked with you, and how much has he helped you?
He's helped me a lot. I mean, he's been a guy since I got here that just put me under his wing, and I've learned a lot from him.
You know, the beauty about Trevor's game is he's not going to stop shooting. You know, he's a shooter, and he knows it. And he knows if he makes one, he might make a couple more. And you know, he's going to demand respect when he's on the floor. And I think when you think back to all the great teams over the last few years that have made runs, and you know, I think back, you know, to our championship game. When I think back to the Florida teams that won back-to-back championships, they always had a killer, a guy that was out there that you couldn't lose. And Lee Humphrey fit that description. But I think Trevor's, you know, Lee Humphrey had a great career, you know, but Trevor's an athlete as well. You know, this kid can fly around, and he's getting better. He's putting on the floor a little bit better. So, you know, you add that with the fact that he can shoot lights out, his development and the way he works, he's going to continue to improve. So, you know, Trevor Cooney's earned every bit of the talk that's been going around about him.
It was tough coming in last year. At this time, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, if I was going to redshirt or not. But this year, I kind of have a feeling of what my role is going to be with the team, and I know I'm going to play.
And you mentioned, you know, working the last season with all the upperclassmen. What did you improve on as a player?
I feel like I got bigger, faster, and stronger, really. And then also, my whole game has expanded. I mean, I feel like now I know how to get my shot off in a college game and against college players for practicing with those guys last year.
And what players maybe helped you along the most, and who really guided you to where you are right now?
Just the older guys from last year. I mean, you had Scoop and Dion and Chris Joe, and even Trish this year. I mean, just practicing against those guys last year, just learning different things from them. Those guys really helped me.
And you know, your backcourt last year was loaded, and now again, Brandon, Michael, you guys still have a stacked backcourt. What are your thoughts on what your team is right now?
No, I think we have a great group of guys, really. I mean, I feel like we had that last year. I feel like we're a little younger this year. But, I mean, we had a great coaching staff, and we're going to be ready for the season.
I know how difficult last year was for him. We talked about that. I think it showed maturity that he kind of stayed out of the limelight, you know, and just went about his business and worked as hard as anybody I've ever seen. So I know how hungry he is. I know how excited he is to step out on the floor and to show what he could do, because he could have played last year. He really could have. We just had 4 guards that were really, really capable, and might have been a waste to waste some of those minutes in a full year on a kid that could be really, really good for us. One thing about Trevor, and it's very difficult sometimes in his zone, is to be complacent, you know, and to stand a little bit and get stagnant. One thing Trevor does a great job is he's always active. You know, similar when Andy Routledge was here, we were so good in 2009, 2010 because of our activity, and Trevor brings that. You know, it took him about 2 weeks, 3 weeks last year at the beginning of practice to get the zone down, and once he did, he was very effective. He gets a lot of deflections, and he can run the floor. You know, so that's good for our offense. And you know, one thing about him is he's never going to stop working, and he's always going to be active. And now you add length in the zone at the top of the zone. We're going to be pretty active at the top of the zone. I'm going to make sure of that the guards are active. But, you know, these guys, they kind of do it on their own. You know, they don't have to be told to do it. It's kind of instinct. And we have some workers, which is a good thing.